Have you ever wondered what it takes to end a conflict? In the tumultuous landscape of international relations, each decision carries weight, each move a potential catalyst for change. One such pivotal moment has recently unfolded in the Middle East, as Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant announced a significant shift in military strategy. In a surprising turn of events, Israel has decided to withdraw almost all of its troops from southern Gaza, a region that has been a hotbed of tension and conflict. This decision leaves only a single brigade stationed in Khan Yunis, tasked with securing the Netzarim corridor. This move is not simply a random act, but a response to a series of events that have shaped the region's recent history. The backdrop to this withdrawal is a string of attacks by Hamas in October, which resulted in over 1,100 deaths, prompting a robust military response from Israel. This escalation of violence led to the current situation, where the chessboard of geopolitics sees pieces being moved in a bid for resolution and peace. The withdrawal is also intricately tied to ongoing negotiations with Hamas over Israeli hostages. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in the throes of seeking a ceasefire deal, a move that could potentially bring an end to the relentless cycle of violence that has gripped the region. The decision to withdraw troops is not without its implications. It has potential repercussions on future military operations, particularly as Israeli officials had initially planned a ground invasion of Rafah, a stronghold of Hamas. With the withdrawal, questions loom large about the feasibility of such an operation. Additionally, there are concerns over potential Iranian retaliation following an attack on the Iran consulate in Damascus. This has led to heightened security measures at Israeli embassies across the globe, a clear indication of the ripple effects that one decision can have on international security dynamics. As troops are withdrawn, one brigade remains. The questions arise: what does this mean for the future of the region? The answer to that question, as with many in the realm of international politics, remains uncertain, and only time will reveal the full impact of this significant withdrawal. What happens when the chess pieces are removed from the board? Imagine a battlefield fraught with tension and the imminent threat of conflict. Now picture the sudden withdrawal of one side's forces. This is the situation we find ourselves in as we contemplate the potential impacts of Israel's decision to remove almost all of its troops from southern Gaza. Without the presence of Israeli forces, the feasibility of future military operations changes dramatically. Prior to the withdrawal, plans were in place for a ground invasion of Rafah, a known Hamas stronghold. But now, with the troops pulled back, the execution of such an operation becomes considerably more complex. It's akin to a chess player suddenly finding their queen removed from the board. The game goes on, but the strategies must be fundamentally recalibrated. The implications of this withdrawal aren't confined to the battlefield. They extend into the realm of geopolitics, affecting the security measures at Israeli embassies worldwide. The Israeli defense minister's announcement came at a time of heightened tensions, following an attack on the Iranian consulate in Damascus. This attack has sparked concerns over potential Iranian retaliation, leading to increased vigilance at Israeli embassies. It's as if the chessboard has expanded, encompassing not just the immediate battlefield, but the wider global stage. This troop withdrawal, then, is more than a simple redeployment of forces. It's a shift in the balance of power, a change in the dynamics of conflict. It's a move that could potentially alter the course of ongoing negotiations with Hamas over Israeli hostages. It's an action that could influence the trajectory of ceasefire talks and the pursuit of a sustainable peace in the region. The decision to withdraw troops is akin to a strategic move on a chessboard, one that has the potential to either escalate or de-escalate the situation. It's a decision that can redefine the game, setting new rules and creating new possibilities. So, what happens when the chess pieces are removed from the board? The answer is a complex interplay of strategy, power, and diplomacy. The game doesn't end, it merely enters a new phase. With troops stepping back, the geopolitical chessboard is set for a new game. What is the price of peace in the Middle East? A question that echoes in the minds of the countless individuals affected by the ongoing conflict. The human cost of these military actions is staggering, and it's a price that's been paid all too often. The October attacks triggered by Hamas resulted in over 1,100 deaths. Families were shattered, dreams were extinguished, and an entire region was plunged into a state of despair. Each life lost is a testimony to the high price of conflict, a cost that's measured not just in numbers, but in the pain and suffering of those left behind. The conflict has also led to widespread displacement. Homes were destroyed, leaving countless people with no choice but to abandon their familiar surroundings. Imagine the anguish of being forced to leave your home, not knowing when or if you'll ever be able to return. The psychological toll of such displacement is immeasurable, adding another layer to the human cost of this conflict. The international community has not remained silent. Pressure is mounting on Israel to scale back its offensive and work towards the establishment of a Palestinian state. This isn't just about politics or territory, it's about recognizing the inherent dignity and worth of every individual, regardless of their nationality or religion. It's about acknowledging that every life lost in this conflict is a tragedy that could have been avoided. The plight of the people in Gaza has touched hearts worldwide. Calls for a ceasefire and de-escalation have grown louder, echoing the collective desire for peace and stability in the region. The human cost of this conflict serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for dialogue, negotiation, and ultimately, reconciliation. As we navigate the complexities of this conflict, we must never lose sight of the human aspect. It's not just about troops and territory, it's about people with hopes, dreams, and the desire to live in peace. It's about the mothers and fathers, the sons and daughters, the friends and neighbors whose lives have been irrevocably altered by the conflict. As the dust settles, the cost of conflict becomes increasingly clear. Each life lost, each person displaced, each tear shed is a reminder of the urgent need for peace. The price of peace in the Middle East is high, but the cost of conflict is even higher. What lies in the future for Israel and Palestine? As we turn our gaze forward, we find ourselves amidst a sea of uncertainty, yet a glimmer of hope persists. The ongoing negotiations between Israel and Hamas over Israeli hostages shine a spotlight on the potential for a ceasefire deal. These discussions, fraught with tension and high stakes, could potentially bring about a much-needed respite in the region. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu remains a key player in this unfolding narrative. Despite international pressure and calls for de-escalation, Netanyahu has been steadfast in his stance, vowing to continue the offensive if required. Yet his government's recent decision to withdraw most troops from southern Gaza indicates a possible shift in strategy, reflecting a nuanced approach to the complex situation. However, this does not dampen the urgency for a ceasefire. The deadly attacks on Israeli forces, leading to the loss of 21 soldiers, have echoed resoundingly across the global stage, triggering widespread calls for a cessation of violence. The human cost of this conflict has been grave, with over 1,100 deaths, and the displacement and destruction within Gaza continues to escalate. The possibility of a ceasefire deal, coupled with proposals for prisoner exchanges, suggests a potential pathway towards peace. It is a delicate balance, a dance between diplomacy and defense, where each step could either lead to de-escalation or reignite the flames of conflict. The world stands at a crossroads, with the international community urging Israel to scale back its offensive and work towards the establishment of a Palestinian state. This conflict has reverberated across continents, and the world watches with bated breath, hoping for a resolution that brings about lasting peace. But the road to peace is not a straightforward one. It is fraught with challenges and setbacks, with each decision carrying significant implications for the future of Israel and Palestine. While the road ahead remains uncertain, one thing is clear: the world is watching.